What I'm saying is, even in losing the election in Polokwane,
Yeah.
people regret Zuma. They don't regret not backing Mbeki. People outside of the ANC often say, but that's where you made the mistake. I take the argument that post Polokwane, his behavior called for his removal. What I'm asking is, do you ever sit back and think you backed the wrong horse at Polokwane, for instance?
No, I don't. I don't regret nothing. But our assessment was that Mbeki was on a rampage against his comrade. He was. And if he gave people a sword to stab him with.
You speak in the book, I cannot not have a conversation with you about former President Jacob Zuma. You speak about your relationship with Zuma, from the time where you met him, your time with him in exile. You speak about even that night of the 14th of February 2018, that day, Valentine's Day 2018. I laughed when I was reading that book. You know why? Because I was one of the journalists camped at the Union buildings who had waited for that 10 a.m. media briefing that never
It
happened.
never did.
Never happened
We
at 10
stopped
a.m. And then you stopped. You stopped.
Stopped it. Yeah, seriously.
You made our day so extra long. You made our day so
You
long.
were too energetic, guys. You need to cool
We
down.
waited the entire day. I actually got angry at about 7 p.m. and I said, I'm going home. If he resigns, great. If he doesn't, oh well. And we then remember seeing the SABC interview in the middle of the day, only for him. And I think you also missed the announcement.
Just afternoon. No. Let me
No, the interview was in the afternoon.
Yeah, but let me explain to your listeners step by step.
I want to bring you in. If you give me patience, I'll bring you in because I know you're integral. I did read your book.
I just need to put facts.
I did read your book. I want to put the facts. But there are multiple facts that I play at the same time. Your facts were you were behind the scenes. Mine, I was outside the Union buildings burning in the sun. That's what I'm trying to point at.
Served you well.
But then we waited the whole day for an announcement, which came in the evening. In the book, by the time the announcement came, you had gone to bed, according to your...
I was sleeping.
You were sleeping.
Yes.
But let's speak about the back and forth and why you stopped at media briefing. We drove early to Pretoria that day. The conversation around what he needed to navigate and think about as they were calling for him to step aside, step down.
I apologize. I didn't know you were waiting anyway.
We were in the sun.
I didn't see you.
Blistering.
There was no sun at night.
No, we were...
What do you mean the sun?
You guys were at the presidential guest house. The presidential house. We were at the Union buildings. Just outside the lawns.
But you was at Matlambandlovu.
Hey?
You was at this house.
You was at Matlambandlovu, just down the road from the Union buildings. Yes.
So you waited at the wrong place.
They wouldn't let us in. We tried to go to Matlambandlovu. They wouldn't let us in. But let's speak about behind the scenes, because a lot of people don't know what was happening while we waited outside. We just were wondering, will or won't he go?
You want me to explain it?
Let's speak about the advice you gave him, the call you got from him also, because that was out of the blue and you hadn't spoken to him in a long time, if I'm correct.
Yeah, the day the constitutional court pronounced on Nkandla, I made a statement that he must step down. And it drew a lot of anger from some of his friends. Then he didn't talk to me. I didn't mind. I went on with my life. And then the Sunday before the NEC meeting, he called me through his bodyguard. He said, Comrade Cyril was coming to his house to discuss with him about when he must go, you know. I said, well, but you and Cyril are conflicted. He wants to come in, you want to stay. We are conflicted. The NEC must discuss the matter. He said, no, actually you are right. So the NEC took up the matter the following week. And that day when the NEC had thrown him out, at about 7, 8, I got a call from his bodyguard. The president wants to speak to you. Please be on the alert. I said, it's fine. Then at 9, I jumped in my pajamas. I thought he's not going to call me anymore. Then the call came, come to Matlambandlovu. So I said, it's fine, I'll go. After a long time. So I picked up one young man called Matsubane, who's always around with me. So we went there, and it was quiet. You couldn't even hear a fly move around. There was only water on the table. And he walked in. But then the first thing, he showed me court papers by some firm of lawyers. I will not mention them here, you know, out of respect for them. Who were drafting an application under Section 98. Section 98 is an impeachment section where you must say, Zuma did this and that and that. They misled him, legally speaking. So I said to Mr. President, tomorrow is not that. It's Section 200, 50 plus 1. The ANC on its own can throw you out. You don't even need opposition. So these people are misleading you. I suggest that we postpone your press conference of 10 o'clock tomorrow so we can debate legal issues. But I then switched off and said, it matter is not legal, it's political. It's not in your interest that you should stay when your party says you must go. I don't think it's in your interest. And we went on talking and talking. Of course, he has more complaint about what Comrade Cyril had promised and agreed to. I then said, but why don't you hold a press conference and tell the nation about what you see as betrayal by your colleague, and then resign? Then that discussion went on and on. We were very close for a long time. So we talk about the moon and the sky and the children. And then it was in the morning, 2 a.m., and it was Valentine's Day. The lovers were celebrating their love. And then, of course, Mr. President, we're sitting here. Today is Valentine's Day, to break the monotony. He laughs. Zuma is a charming uncle, if you want.
I went to visit him in Kgalema
he's very charming. You can't take that from him. He's not a vicious.
No, he's quite lovely.
Yeah, he's lovely. I mean, to give it to him.
He was lovely to us.
Give it to him. He's a charmer, Then we were talking there. Then he said, no, well, I'll address the matters we talked about. I said, before I go, let me tell you, I talked to President Sassou of Brazzaville. He was his friend. Alpha Conde of Guinea-Conakry. He was his friend. And Kikwete. And I threw in Kikwete's name. I said to him, I wanted to bring them here to South Africa to tell you to step down long time ago. So I'm not telling you new things. I had already thought we should use the weight of African leaders to ask you to step down. You are under a lot of pressure. It's not good for you. Think about your children. Think about your pensions and everything, That was the note that I left him. And I said to him, Mr. President, which I don't normally say to a man, I love you. And I hugged him and I left him. And then I expected him. I didn't expect the press conference at 10 because it was agreed it's not going to be there. Sorry, I did not know. I would have told you. so I spoke to where is it? I mean, she's neither here nor there. There's no press conference. It's at 2 or something like that. Then I watched that 2 o'clock one. And he was doing exactly...
That monologue on the SABC.
Yeah, I thought he was doing exactly letting out, which I thought it's correct.
He was venting,
Yeah, he was vent because he felt bad about being told to go that time. Because he had agreed on a number of things, like when does he introduce Cyril to the BRICS leadership, to this thing and that, which you talked about there. And of course, I thought he would resign that time. He didn't. Then I was tired. I slept at 3 or 4. So I went to sleep. And one of my partners, who I've told about this interesting night meeting, was watching when he was resigning. So he wrote, at least he listened to you. So I woke up at 11 and said, who listened to me? So I watched TV. Oh, Zuma has resigned. Oh, hallelujah. This is good for South Africa.
Your thoughts on the GNU and its prospects of survival as it stands?
I think you saw my public pronouncement on the GNU from the beginning. I wrote a lot of opinions, which I shared with both the president and deputy president. I had no qualm with a platform of a GNU, but I felt as we started, it looked like it's the ANC and the DA. I thought it was costly for the ANC in terms of the coming local government elections, that it will nail the ANC very badly, because already you can see the SACP doesn't buy into it, COSATU does not buy into it, and that should worry the ANC. But we sit with a fait accompli. It's there. What do? Let's see if it works, and pray that it will work. Only time will tell. Talking is cheap. It's very sweet. You look like, you're worried about the ANC, but what are you doing? I'm always guided by science. Even before the ANC lost PE, I said the ANC will lose them.
2016
and I was attacked, but I was right. Now, the studies which are coming from overseas now, and I'm going to say it because that's the studies which I have, they said the ANC might end up at 26%. And I'm saying it publicly for the first time. So the downward spiral will happen because of lack of confidence in the party and its leadership, unless something dramatic happens. And it must happen quickly, because we're 2 years away from local government elections, and there need to be dramatic changes in the party for us to up our vote in the local government. But at the moment, it's low. We're having to survive in the metros.